Okay, so we'll begin this evening with Paranormal Activity. Sorry, no, Poltergeist. Poltergeist. If you've seen the movie, you'll know why I made a mistake between the two of them. Oh, blimey. So this is a remake of the 1982 movie. I have to say in wholehearted honesty, I've not seen the original movie. Not that really impact on this, because I like to review movies on their own individual merits and not compare them to original versions or other movies that are out at the moment. It is produced by Sam Raimi, who has given us such great movies as The Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and the Spider-Man movies from a few years ago. So this movie should have a great pedigree behind it. Should. This movie is fantastic in everything but execution. Now, to the movie's credit, it does function like a real horror movie. Time is spent to develop our characters, to actually build up some tension and some horror, and has elements within it that we can get legitimately frightened of. If you've seen any of the trailers or any of the posters, they've got the creepy clown doll, and by crikey Jumbo, that's probably the only time I've ever been frightened of a clown or frightened of a doll. So congratulations, movie, you've achieved at least something. But sadly, the first half of this movie does function way too much like the bang, whoops, there goes me trousers horror movie that we have all come to know and hate over the past few years. It is even more aggravating, as it means that very little time can actually be spent realistically building up the characters, so that when big nasty things happen to them we actually care. This is something I touched upon in my review of Woman in Black 2, where once again we had a situation where so much time was spent in quiet bang territory that when it actually came down to character development, it kind of didn't work, because we were just waiting, tense and taut up, waiting for the next thing to come out of the woodwork and go utters. And that certainly does happen in the first half of this movie, which makes trying to care when horrible, nasty things are happening to the little girl and the boy and the rest of the family not really have the necessary impact for those things to be terribly scary or terribly involving. The special effects within this movie are limp. They're not terrible, they're just plain limp. It feels odd seeing this movie having seen Mad Max Fury Road, and how almost every special effect within that movie was practical, and in this movie almost every special effect is CGI, which means that we're back to floaty, weightless graphics that don't really feel consistent with the world or the people they're in, and it means that most of the horror movie elements look as though they've just been ripped out of some clickbait horror movie that just come out of steam greenlight, which is a damn shame, as some time has been spent to actually design some fairly creepy visuals. There's a fistful of creepy clown dolls, which once again are creepy and clown dolls, so they're doubly scary, even if the rest of the movie really isn't. In terms of performances, the performances within this movie are fairly naff, much like the special effects, fairly limp. The children within this movie are serviceable. The teenage daughter is barely in it, so I can't really go into much detail about her performance. The son is fairly wooden and naff, so the little girl in this movie is fine, but she does feel like the stock, very nice little next door neighbour girly thingy. I know that's not really an archetype, but give me a break. This movie doesn't really have much in the way of real talking points to it. It's naff, fairly naff at the end of the day. It's watchable. It is watchable, but not really a compelling viewing. Sam Rockwell is the best thing about this movie. He pulls the best performance, and you actually get a serious feel for him and his motivations. He feels like he's the only character with any motivation to him whatsoever. At the end of the day, once again, this movie isn't terrible, it isn't horrible, it isn't nasty or repulsive. It's just naff. Watchably enough, but it's nothing to go out and to spend your hard-earned money on. Oh dear.